Coming to you live from the Avenue Cafe, our very first show of the year, and I am on one side, I have one legend, Bob Carroll. On my right, I have the other Long Beach legend, Jimmy May. And Jimmy, talk about your life, things you've done in growing up in Long Beach.
Well, I was born here. I was born where Citibank is now. It was a red brick tenement apartment house. It was 141 East Park Avenue. And it was during the Depression, 1931. And I won't name the doctor, because maybe I'll get sued. He charged my father 100. My father gave him 50 and sipped him for the other 50. So that's where I grew up. Went to Long Beach High School. And before that, I worked at the Commodore Fishing Station for 4 summers. I worked in a beer truck for 3 summers, and I went on a lifeguard for 43 years. But the record I was proud of is I played in more football games at Long Beach High School than anybody ever will. I played 1 year of JV football, 5 games, and then I played 31 varsity games. I took a postgraduate my last year, 1950, after my first year in the lifeguards, and then I came back and I played 1 more year, and no one could ever do that again. That record will never be broken. And of course, the people at Long Beach, whoever chooses the
Wall of Fame.
Wall of Fame should listen to that, because I've been nominated many times and I've been completely ignored. So they now I'll let Robert have a few words.
All right, that was Jimmy May, and Jimmy, you go, Bob Carroll, you go way back with Jimmy. What are your recollections of Jimmy May as a young guy growing up, and the fact that you guys have known each other for so long here in Long Beach? Just right here.
Well, I went to Long Beach High School with Jimmy, and we played football on the same team. Jimmy was a lineman, and I was backfield.
Punter.
Punter.
We punted into the bay.
He's interrupting me already because he played 5 years of football. That's because he couldn't get out of high school. It took him 5 years to get out of school.
It's a lie.
They got him into the ring, and that was his claim to fame, is that he won the Golden Gloves. I think he weighed about 147 pounds then.
Yeah.
I think right now his right leg weighs 147 pounds. But anyway, we went to school together, and I grew up in Long Beach, of course. I was from the other end of town, the West End. I attended West School, Long Beach High School. Played 5 sports at Long Beach High School. Baseball, football, wrestling, bowling. What was the other one, Jimmy? I forgot.
Track, swimming, lacrosse,
Basketball.
yeah, there you go.
Won a championship.
There you go.
Yeah, Wendell McPhee, Eddie Condon, had a good team. I think they all went to Ivy League schools except for myself. I went to Portland State, became a physical education teacher. But
He went in the Army.
went in the Army, went to Korea, went back to Portland, and became the superintendent of recreation in Long Beach, taking Gail Newman's position after he retired. I worked at the recreation center for 47 years. 47 years here in Long Beach, and I snuck in about 11 years of phys ed teacher. And over at Central School and Lindell School, where we graduated high school from, wound up teaching phys ed in that school. And the accomplishments in recreation were, I go to park down at the recreation center with the help of Bruce Nyman, who was our city manager then, and Tom Galata, the county executive, who I got an $8.5 million funding from to build a park, which is a state-of-the-art facility now. Built 4 new playgrounds in Long Beach, and West End one, Magnolia and the Beach, another one, and Pacific and the Beach, and over at North Park Place, a 4th one. And I think the biggest claim to fame is I was on the beach park, operating, managing the beach park, when I was standing at 8:30 in the morning at a booth on Laurelton Boulevard, and a nice-looking woman came up to buy a ticket, and a fellow on a bicycle was going west, and another one coming east on a bicycle, and they took a look at the woman, and they slammed into each other, and they were flying off their bicycles, and both of them had severe splinters, and the gate attendant said to me, "You got to do something about that, Carol, it's very dangerous." So I said, "You're right." And then I went to the city council and said, "We need 2 white lines down the entire boardwalk from New York Avenue to Pacific Boulevard with arrows pointing east and west, and bicycles only between the 2 lines." After they completed the job, the fellow in charge of painting the lines in Long Beach sent me a bill for $7,000. So I couldn't believe it. So I was reimbursed by the city. But anyway, it's still in operation today. Playgrounds are in operation. The skating rink, which we had refurbished and redone and rebuilt, and is still in operation. We brought the New York Rangers to Long Beach. So we had a very, very active recreation commission that put all these programs together with myself, and started music on the beach with the bandwagon, moving it around from the east end to the west end to the center of town. We had some great shows. Those of you who remember Fats Domino, I had him down there, and we had a lot of local people in this area that were absolutely fantastic, and a lot of crowd.
How about the Ramones?
How about what?
The Ramones, remember? They had a riot.
Okay.
All right, awesome. Jimmy May, you were a Gold Glove boxer, and a lot of people. Champion. Talk about your days as a boxer back in the day, because people still look at those pictures at Shines when you were a good-looking boxer back in the day.
Oh, it was never a good look. I had a... Thanks, Robert.
Now there he is. There's the young Jimmy May as a lifeguard, 1955.
I was home on leave from the Army. I worked the beach. I later wound up in Italy for 15 months. And I'm lucky I came back.
So what made you a good boxer?
Well, I learned how to fight when I was a kid. Where I grew up, you had to fight to survive. And that was the way things were. And I always had a pretty good punch. And a couple of fight trainers saw me and they said, "Hey, try it in the ring." I said, "Well, I beat the hell out of some guys out in the street." I said, "Let me try it in the ring." And I did pretty well. Of course, I had a couple of bad nights. Mr. Floyd Patterson one night. Wasn't too nice of a night, but Floyd and I became very good friends later. Floyd guy passed on about 5 years ago. We were always friends. You know. But then my eye went bad and I had to quit. Meanwhile, I was working for dear old Long Island Lighting Company, and I spent 41 years there. And lucky to get out of there alive, too.
For the young people listening, I want to know, what was Long Beach like 50 years ago? Jimmy, I'll start with you. Take us back to Long Beach back in the 50s. What was Long Beach like?
50 years ago, all right, everyone was broke. We still are. But growing up, well, I used to hang out in the West End most of the time. I met Robert at the Recreation Center. When he played basketball for a gang called the Wildcats. And if you played them, beat them in basketball, they beat the hell out of you after the game. And I played for a team called the Crescents. We were a football team. And we won the championship one year. And the following year, we got thrown out of the league by Jimmy McCabe for rough play. And that was it. But I still have a gold medal at home from winning a basketball championship in 1946 and 45 around that day. No, that was it. But we were a football basketball team. We did very well. Everybody was a little bit afraid of us. All right.
All right, Bob, what are your recollections of Long Beach back in the 50s?
I'm going to go 10 years before that into the 40s.
All right.
Because we saw in Long Beach the Navy down at Toledo Training Station. It was a repo depot, and Long Beach was absolutely full of sailors. Every time you walked down Park Avenue, there was a USO on National Boulevard. We were involved in the West End of setting up pins in the bowling alley, and it was the sailors used to come down there in busloads. They had leads for them, bowling leads. And on the ocean front were the Coast Guard and the Army patrolling the beach with big searchlights looking for enemy planes. And of course, you all remember when the Coast Guard located a raft coming in with 6 espionage Germans. And of course, it scared the daylights out of them because they never thought in a million years they'd see Germans coming into East Atlantic Beach. But they thought they were in New York Harbor. And here they were right in our own backyard. There were sailors, soldiers, Coast Guard, patrolling all over Long Beach during the war. And what were we doing at that age, 13, 14? We were gathering up metal and scrap and had big scrap drives, and we were all involved. Everybody was involved in the war effort. And, you know, a lot of the boys from Long Beach, they were probably about, I think, 14 were killed in World War II. So it was a very difficult time for us. And what do? We all set up pins in the bowling alley, and that's why we all wound up bowling from Long Beach High School. But to make a few extra dollars, we used to do a lot of clamming across the bay, and we did a lot of crabbing, blue claw crabs. And at this time of the year, December, when it's about 15 degrees out, we used to go down the bay with a flashlight and frost fishing. We did a lot of frost fishing, and they're called whiting, and we used to sell them for about a nickel a piece. But anyway, it was a lot of fun, and it was a lot of effort on our part. But it was a great time growing up in Long Beach. I remember graduating from West School. There were only 11 pupils in the class. 11, so you can see the population of Long Beach. It was very low. It was a summer resort. In the summer, there were like about 90 to 100,000 people. In the winter, there were probably about 10 to 12,000. It was a great place to live, and we all got along fantastically. It was wonderful, and I enjoyed it, and I'm still talking about it today. Thank you.
All right, we're going to take a break, and we're going to talk about what's happening in Long Beach today. Justin Shawshan is going to give us the Long Beach High School report. We're going to have some music with Kim. Mayor is going to do his report. Walter's going to talk about a couple of big events. And Jimmy and Bob will join us later in the show, and Bob will update us. He's still involved. He's the president of the Lions Club, and he's got a big function coming up Thursday, so you'll love hearing more from Jimmy and Bob later in the show. But right now, we're going to take a break, and make sure you support these great sponsors coming up: 5-Star Salon, Yoga Long Beach, the Cabana, and the Kasders coming up. I am Halftime Howie. This is Broadcasting on the Beach with Halftime Howie, coming to you live tonight from the Avenue Cafe, Long Island's first and oldest radio station, 1240 AM WG.